All right, here we are, episode one.
How much editing can you do on this after the fact?
We're
I
gonna
mean,
need it.
I mean,
That's
I,
what I'm at. That's why
I
I'm
mean,
asking.
I'm not an editor, but we may have to use some AI editing tools. I don't know.
Well, can you go back and like cut sections out? I don't know. Like
Uh,
if you could,
So using the AI, what I know is that you can like anyone's that's like slurring or it can like cut that out and go through. But of course, all these programs cost money or whatever, so we'll see. But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
with AI and stuff like, I mean, I could easily like send it to someone and someone could do it, but you got to pay them, you know? So it just kind of depends.
We're not doing that.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
not
yeah.
paying people.
No.
No, I'd rather just do
Mm.
the AI is pretty streamlined too, and then it'll shoot it to all the stuff, if you have Instagram, YouTube, whatever else. It's pretty sweet. But all right,
Yeah,
we're here. We're talking Dodgers,
right.
the team, the only real team that we all follow and love. Do we got any? I guess let's start at the wild card, honestly, because there was some, although it was only what, two games, it was, I think, a little concerning, obviously, with the bullpen. So, any thoughts on how they played or what was going on?
I mean the Reds were overmatched. I mean that wasn't much of a series from a talent or a an experience perspective. But yeah, I mean came out of that feeling kind of the same way I felt the whole season, which is the bullpen is going to really hurt us against a better team. Um, I don't know. It was disheartening. It was concerning. I can open up the dictionary. That's not what I'm looking for. The thesaurus and come up with a bunch of more words that mean the same damn thing. But I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't enjoy the bullpen experience.
I mean, the only thing we did enjoy was the emergence of Roki.
Well, yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah, him coming out and having a coming out party there in the Red Series, and obviously we'll get into it with the division series, but um, him coming out and establishing himself was refreshing to see.
Yeah,
And
I
the
mean,
fact that we haven't gotten to the AL, the NLDS yet, but yeah, I mean, just the fact that they can stretch him out, that he is a starter, that he can go longer than maybe a normal closer would be able to go is huge. Just hope they don't have to lean on him too much.
yeah, I mean, I think the Dodgers did use. I mean, Henriquez he's not on the roster anymore. Like they use the bottom of the barrel guys, but you would still like to see, hey, let's not give up 4 runs or, something along those lines. I mean, Sheehan gave up two, I think, in game two. Um, and then they had like an error. So it was like 4 runs or whatever.
How much
But
of the season do you think they kind of had that in the back of their mind that it wasn't going to be a traditional bullpen? It was going to be starters coming in and either going long innings or even just going for particular hitters or particular stretches of the lineup. When do you think they made that plan? It to me it seems like they made that plan probably around the All-Star break, and like they were just still throwing their guys, not showing their cards. But I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think,
I mean, I think it's
go
probably
ahead.
hard to say when they made that plan. I mean, it's you know, part of this is based on starter health and the history of the Dodgers starter health, as evidenced by last year's World Series run, is not real impressive. So it was probably just, hey, keep running everybody out there. We know we've got to have four healthy starters or at least three going into the playoffs. See who's healthy and then adjust at that point. But I mean, yeah, I think this was always probably the ideal, right? I mean, who's not here who we would have expected to be? Dustin May, who's traded away, Bobby Miller, who never found it again. I mean, there's not a lot of, River Ryan, but that was before the season. Tony Gonsolin, maybe. I don't know. But the point being, like, yeah, the reason they had 10 or 11 starters probably was the hope that there would be six or seven available. They could see who's throwing the best and adjust from there. Um, it worked out this year. It didn't work out last year, but, you know, could be
Yeah,
worse.
I saw
Could
a
be worse.
stat. I think it honestly came down to the last month of the season. I mean, their bullpen was so bad the last month. I thought I saw a stat. It was 6+ ERA for like the month of September.
It was awful.
So I mean,
Well,
I think just having an embarrassment of riches of starters like helps in that context, but also it's just it's not even I don't even know if they had the plan. I think it's out of necessity at this point. I
Yeah, for
mean,
sure. Well, I think
like the
that
last week or whatever it was. So
if anything, I think that no matter when they started thinking about it, it had to have been cemented, that night in Baltimore with Yamamoto going 8 2/3, no hit ball, 4-run lead, and they lose. Like,
yeah.
That
that's the worst loss I've ever seen in my entire
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. Me too. I mean, I quit. Right, I quit on via our group text exchange. I was out.
I mean,
Um,
it was a Dodger regular season game, and I don't think our group text has had that many messages in a night in a long time. It was bad.
it was
It was
awful.
really bad.
He literally
It-
quit the Dodgers that night.
like that's it.
It was
That's
it.
it. I'm out. Uh,
After 40 years, that was the night that did it. Broke him.
He was
there have been some other
teetering.
bad nights, but that was what did it. It finally broke me. No, but well, I kept joking. I was like, man, they got to luck into a decent night out of the normal bullpen group at some point. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like Kike can go out there and get 3 outs without giving up a hit every once in
And
a
we've seen
while.
it.
And so you'd think maybe Tanner Scott could throw a 98, but I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Reds obviously weren't really that wasn't, that wasn't the series. The big series was the division series against the Phillies. I think, as fans, for right or for wrong, we naturally overlooked the Reds, and it worked out in our favor. We smacked them around a little bit, and then the division series happened, and um, the real, you know, presence of Roki was felt in game one. Going down three, Teoscar coming up seventh inning, taking the lead, never really looking back. Exciting stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I
going
was
to that
concerned.
game. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tua.
No, I was just gonna, I mean, to game one in the NLDS, right? So, you transition from the Reds who you overmatch them, and really it was nice to see that the Dodgers got big leads early, and then, they just kind of held on. I mean, that's how it was. But, that was the stark difference between game one and the Red series is we didn't get an early lead down 2-0. And then it was like nothing was kind of going. We get like a borderline walk, and then, he hits the 3-run bomb. So it kind of changed the narrative like real quick of the series, I think, because you steal game one and to have it close in that fashion, I mean, shut them down seventh, eighth, ninth, like it was nothing. I mean, it was so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was not to say that the Brewers are not a concern. Obviously, they had the best record of baseball this year. They're a really good squad, but it felt like the Phillies, from a star power perspective, from a pitching perspective, matched up as well as any team we're going to see. And yeah, I mean, I was concerned. In a 5 game series, you're down early. There was some real concern there, but being able to, yeah, I don't know. Teo had such a rough start to that game
Oh
with
yeah.
not run, not chasing down the ground ball in right center and allowing a triple there, and then not running out of ground ball back. Was that game one or that might have been game two? He ran out the ground ball back to the pitcher that he would have beat out. But he does stuff like that. You can't hate him. Just comes up massive and um, always, he's always got that in his bat. We're always expecting it. Don't always get it. But then, yeah, to have Roki at the back end, talked about this with good bullpens for many years. Not us, but people have. It shortens the ball game on the pitching side. So when you've got a Roki down there that gives you 27 outs to play with, and them 24 at most. So yeah, it's huge. It's huge. Um,
Yeah. And looking, I mean, so you get game one, they have an off day, which helps. And then you play game two after the off day, and Snell is just, I mean, both pitchers, Luzardo, Snell, are just dealing, right? Like no one can get a hit, or, I mean, it's like one walk or two walks between them. Um, I mean, it was. the ultimate pitcher's duel. So you just kind of thinking like, hey, if we can somehow manufacture a run or something, here we go. Um, and Snell just, what's the term? Shoved. And
He
it,
shoved. Yeah. Yeah.
and it, the nastiest thing, I think it was three straight changeups to Trey Turner, and he was waving at all three.
All three of them.
I mean, the batting
Yeah.
champion, right? So that was fun to watch. I mean, it was nerve-wracking because you just want the Dodgers to score and so you're holding your breath. But um game two just kind of had a bunch of twists and turns, and then I don't know. You want to get into the
That well,
decision by Dave Roberts?
ugh.
Yeah,
Um,
I do want to get into it. You guys go ahead while I gather my thoughts,
no, no,
and then
no. Just so I mean, he decides to, in the ninth put in training, and to say he hasn't pitched well of late would be an understatement. He did pitch one batter in the Red Series and got him out uh, in a quote unquote high leverage situation, I think
sure,
Dave Roberts
sure.
said.
Uh-huh.
So I'll leave it to you guys and I'll finish it. But yeah, it was interesting decision.
It always is. I think that you know, when you have the track record that Blake Trinan has, and when he is on, he's as valuable as any relief arm in baseball. It's hard to argue that. Like you have,
Saved us
and
last
it.
year. Saved us last year in game five. I
I
mean,
mean,
absolutely saved
in
us.
those moments, you have to, it's break out the tums and put him out there because you don't know if Roki's going to have that same type of back-to-back reaction. Trinan, when he is on, he's unhittable. You have that moment. You need to win that game. Like, I get it. I don't like the fact that post game, the kind of rebuttal was, I didn't know if Roki could go 2 games in a row. If you didn't know he could go 2 games in a row, then why you bringing him in anyways?
Right.
Like,
That's exactly. Yep.
if
Yep.
you're gonna have your hill, be on your hill,
Right.
dog. Like, um, but I think it established itself as, unfortunately, I just don't know for right or for wrong. I don't know if it's
When,
a 6 inch issue right now with trying to now, or if it's something mechanically or something. But I don't know how you can go back to him in the championship series. Like in those moments, he is
that's what I
now.
was just gonna say. Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead. I mean, he's now shown you during
No,
the
no, no, no,
regular
no, no.
season
That's I was gonna. Yeah. Yeah.
in the postseason.
It's
Now
there's
it's
no way
there.
to go back to him, and not at least in a leverage situation at this point. I don't know what situation you would feel comfortable using him in, except down by 6 runs. Maybe takes the curse roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was low. Oh,
No, but the point being, like, yeah, there's no way you can trust him at this point. So I don't
no.
know what, I mean, Evan Sheehan gave up a couple runs in a couple of different games, right?
Yeah, he
But he
gave up the
looks
one.
like but he looks like he's out there dominating, right? He looks like he's comfortable. He looks like he's going to get outs. It doesn't always work out that way, but he looks the part. Trying to just looks like he's a mess.
This looks like a mess.
Uh,
I think
yeah,
the thing now though is like it's even one of those where you can't. Trinan's not going to get you more than those 3 outs. Like he's not going to go out there for multiple innings. So at that point, you don't need him in the bullpen. You need that high leverage guy who can extend a couple of innings if you need to, um, like Emmett. You know what I mean? So I just don't see how. I mean, I don't think the championships roster has been released yet. I know it'd be a tough pill to swallow to not include him on it, but like I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can have him on it in the championship series.
They're gonna have him on it. I don't think there's a because they're only gonna have two catchers, so they'll have an extra pitcher. I think Will Smith is healthy enough is kind of the decision, or at least that's what they were writing
yeah.
about today on ESPN and CBS. But I mean, the guy caught what, game three and game four, full
Yeah.
games, so there shouldn't be any, and he's had a couple extra days rest. But I mean, I just the decision, he stuck with this guy. That's what Dave does. The problem is he's kind of short-sighted in that, like, how is the guy pitching lately? And he's been quite honestly pitching poorly. So, and it's a 4-1 game, and you don't, as we saw in game three, I mean, it's kind of Monday morning quarterbacking, but you know, when you have a team down, you don't want to give them any type of life. So there's no point. And you had an off day in between, and then you have another off day for travel day. So those guys are going to get rest. And Sasaki looked so good in game one. I think he threw like 12 pitches or something. I mean, it was nasty. So I just didn't like the decision just based off of how the series was going. And, obviously the result, which honestly, Dodgers probably should have. They deserve to lose that game with the decisions and I mean, if Freddie doesn't pick that ball, I mean, lose, right?
And they
So,
don't run a perfect wheel play.
yeah. And
Dude,
then the wheel play, yeah. And they wanted to I listened to a lot of it about how Castellanos got blamed for running that. That's not his fault. It was a perfect play. It was a perfect throw. It was a perfect tag. And just because the guy's slow, I felt really bad for them because he just blamed him for that move.
yeah.
And I thought
It's
that was
so funny.
unfair.
That's such an unbelievable play though, because you work
Yeah.
on that all year to maybe run it one time.
Yeah.
To
Maybe,
maybe run it one time. And
maybe.
then to run it to perfection like that was massive.
Well, and
I mean, that was
everyone post game was just could not say
yeah.
enough about Mookie. Essentially,
Yeah.
as soon as the opportunity rose, he was saying we got to run the wheel play, like
Yeah.
and then to dovetail on that conversation, I think that like what Mookie has done this year at the shortstop position in really one of his first 250 games at playing the position is nothing short of just unbelievable. I mean, I get it. He's touted as one of the best shortstops in baseball, and I still don't think that's enough recognition. I think what he's doing is phenomenal.
He might win the Gold Glove, which is just an insane thing in your after this many years in the big leagues to then move to the hardest position on the field, maybe except for catcher, and, and play it that well is the guy's a freak.
Yeah.
In the best way. I mean, just guys, you can't do that. And he did it and did it as well as anybody. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But yeah, and then to have the awareness again, he hasn't played there a long time. To call that play in that moment is is pretty massive. I mean, yeah, Mook didn't have his normal year at the plate, but man, he's sure shown his value a lot of other places.
They
Yeah. I
they
mean,
they
That
squeak
was
they
incredible.
squeak out of Philadelphia up 2-0 and come home, and then game three.
yeah, I think the irony, honestly, is who has been the Dodgers' best pitcher all year, Yamamoto, who's Cy Young,
Yeah.
probably going to get second or third, Yamamoto. And you could tell from the jump, from probably about 5 pitches in, he was leaving everything in the middle of the plate. It wasn't the same, movement on the corners and things like that. So it was a little surprising to see that, but he has a tendency to have one of those games every so often. It's like, at one out
Yep.
of
I was
every
just gonna say
five or
that he's
six
had a few of
starts.
those
Yeah, he's
this year.
had.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he comes back, and I mean, I expect him to deal in game two if that's the way the Dodgers decide to go to it. But yeah, it was a little surprising, and then get him out of the game, and then it's trying to just hold on for dear life to try to get some runs. But
Well,
The
and
moment I
they
think I was a little bit
were.
upset. They didn't. Sorry, am I delayed?
No,
you're
you're good.
good now.
Something jump to somebody like a Justin Robleski or I guess you could have gone Glass now there and come back with Otani, but that's not really what I was saying. But Justin Robleski, I mean, I'm not sure what he's on the roster for if not for that. Come in and give him some long relief. But at the same time, you're down, not unsurmountable. I don't know. Fixed it in post. Uh, we'll without an not necessarily an instrumental lead, but being behind and Dave kind of reading the conversation or the situation that this isn't a place where I want to burn all my guys and leave us to have to scramble for arms tomorrow night, meaning game four, which ended up being a game where you could have had been scrambling for arms. So no, you know, it was not fun to watch Clayton come in and
But with that, that's down 3-1, sixth inning, they bring in Bonda. Bonda gets in trouble. He bowses back, gets out of the inning without giving
yeah
up a run. They were applying pressure. They weren't able to pull anything through. Seventh inning comes around. Kershaw comes in, goes first and second, nobody out, gets the out,
yeah
gets out of the inning without giving
right
up a run.
Yeah.
The kind of thing on the back end that I'm hearing is like, and what you just kind of insinuated was that they were looking to use the arms in game three, but in a 3-run lead or a 3-1 deficit and going into the bottom of the seventh, going into the eighth, like with that offense,
yeah
you got to figure you have a chance at winning the game. So if that was the answer for bringing out Kershaw back in the eighth inning, that's not a good enough answer for me. Like
yeah
that's
I get
you
it.
know and then things happen and it's I don't think that's the last time we're going to see Kershaw pitch at Dodger Stadium, but it very well could be. And if it did, that hurts.
Yeah.
Um, but in the end, losing game three without my feelings set aside, if I'm looking at that, I'm thinking the Dodgers have a chance of winning in a game that they're down 3-1 in the eighth inning. Shoot me. But then comes game four, and it turns into something that I don't think anyone really thought that it was going to be 1-1 late. And when you're dealing in a 1-1 game in the seventh, eighth, ninth inning, you need those arms. And if you're using them the night before, like shit, man, like you're not setting yourself up to succeed. So not to jump too far ahead, but you get into that seventh, eighth, ninth inning of that game four when you need outs and you got arms, all of a sudden you know, he looked like he knew what he was doing in game three a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you could have played game three either way. I would have. I mean, I didn't have a problem with the way he played it, but if they had gone to Sasaki there and decided I'm going to try to hold them and try to win this game, fine, whatever. But the way it did play out, but can you think they got six innings from Glass Star? We can move it on to game four. Can we move on to game four?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets six innings out of Glass now, and somehow goes another six innings only using three pitchers, which is pretty insane. Two of them were not relievers to start the year, right? Sheehan and Roki.
Right.
Um, so to get through game four, not using any of those arms that we've been so terrified of all years, and get through 12 innings is pretty insane.
It's
It's
incredible.
pretty insane.
Well,
Yeah.
and they made that announcement too before the game. You couldn't use one of those arms, which would be Tanner Scott, because he's
Right.
not on the roster because he's injured, and so they can't bring him back until the World Series. Which I thought. So now Robleski is on the roster, or he was placed on it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was afraid. I mean, they did use Trinan in the ninth.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Am I misremembering?
Yeah, they used him. Kershaw went 7 and 8, and
Oh,
then they brought
we're
in.
talking the ninth on.
No,
Sorry,
so
in game
that's why.
three.
So I
In
didn't
game
think.
three. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think
Yeah.
that kind of took him out. I mean, obviously he could have used him back-to-back nights, but the fact that I mean, Sheehan only gave up the one run, um, and then the Dodgers scored what in I believe it was the seventh, right back.
Yeah.
So then it
Yeah.
was 1-1, and then
You get three out of Sasaki.
yeah,
And
exactly.
I mean, I don't even, I'm misremembering because I'm still on the high, but I don't even know if he threw a ball in those fucking three
Right.
innings. He absolutely shoved for three straight innings.
He threw
It's
10.
insane.
I'm looking at it right now. He threw
10 balls total in
36
Fake news.
pitches. Yeah, 36 pitches, 26 strikes.
It was. Has he given up a base runner in the postseason? I'm probably jinxing him now, but like he looks unhittable, unhittable.
If that splitter's working, I don't know how you hit it.
It's
It's
unbelievable.
the only one actually. I think the in the Reds in one maybe it was the first game in Philly or whatever. He hung. I remember he hung a splitter and it was a base hit, and then no one else touched
Okay.
anything. But yeah, I mean the fact, and I was wondering if they were going to send him out for the third inning because the second inning that he pitched, he legitimately only threw like 8 pitches.
Did you see
Yeah.
him in between that second and third inning? He didn't even take his glove off in the dugout.
Nope.
Didn't take his
He
glove
was
off and
dialed.
just sat there
Just a machine.
Yeah.
visualizing.
Again, we're very biased. We've been kicked in the nuts for 40 years watching the Dodgers, so we're living every moment of these now. But like, you do feel bad for a guy like that who makes a big jump, comes to a big market, really struggles at the beginning of the year, visibly is upset with his performance, and like you can tell he's not happy. Goes on a 5 month like whatever it was.
Yeah.
And for him to come back now, and regardless of what happens the rest of this postseason, he's found, you got to know he's found confidence and
Yeah.
whatever, like he's found it. Like he's a different pitcher now than he was, in April and May. And maybe it's a Kike situation where, you have a guy that he'll be it's very early in his career, so we'll see. But like maybe you have a guy that chews up innings throughout the year, but when it comes to October, if you have a Kike in the bullpen, look out. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah. So
Well,
I read reports this week that, and reports meaning other, you know, I'm not getting intel from the Dodgers direct, not yet, intel from the Dodgers directly, but that he was sitting 93 in the minor leagues. They couldn't figure something was up. They could not figure it out, and then somebody spotted something and unlocked it, and all of a sudden he got back to the postseason. He's shoving 100 and
love it.
90 something around splitters. It's interesting. So a lot of Japanese pitchers when they come over talk about the difference in the baseball and that the seams are it's a flatter ball here. The seams are not as high, which makes of course their breaking stuff not spin and break the way it would with higher seams. Yamamoto dealt with that last year, and at the beginning of the year, he struggled a bit too. And I wonder if, their age difference, Yoshi being in his late 20s, Roki being a little bit younger, he needed the break to actually go figure it out somewhere else that wasn't in front of, fans. Um, it's an interesting that they both struggled at the beginning of the year. Obviously, Yoshi stayed up and was fine by the end of the year, but just, I don't know, man, guy just figured it out. Guy just figured it out.
well,
It's insane.
yeah, his stuff as a closer, I would assume. I mean, his stuff seems to play better as a closer just because you only bring it for an inning, and so you can dial up whatever. You're not saving yourself.
Yeah,
You're not, the stamina and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, he has looked so good. I mean, he was the X factor in that series for sure.
for sure, for sure. Yeah,
But
could you imagine what that game four would have looked like without him trying to piece together, getting through?
3 innings, 9 outs.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been a whole other. Yeah, would have been a whole different game. Um,
Dodgers, we get to the bottom of the 11th. The one thing about that entire game is the Dodgers felt like they were applying pressure all game long. And we talked about Roki not really having that in those 3 innings. The Dodgers were applying pressure every inning. So you do feel bad for you feel bad for that guy, but if it wasn't him, it probably would have been someone else.
yeah,
It was rolling. Those types of things happen. Um, Obviously we'll take it. I think we
yeah,
all texted each other in that moment that we'll take it.
we'll take it.
Um,
oh yeah,
but that was going to happen. The Dodgers were applying the pressure. They were going to get it done. They did. And here we are, baby.
yeah. I mean,
NLCS.
they got it done. You feel bad for the kid. I mean, obviously he just sped it up. You have a comebacker. He kind of bobbles like what he's doing, and then you just see him I mean, it was almost a sidearm, and you feel
Oh
bad.
yeah.
I felt horrible for him because he's going to be remembered for that in Philly and forever, and so you feel bad for him. But let's move on to tomorrow night. We got Dodgers at Brew Crew in Milwaukee. Snell, and I think they said Quintana is back, which should be interesting. The old,
Well, they had to burn Freddie Peralta in Game 5.
yeah, he's coming game two,
Yeah.
apparently. But Quintana, who the Dodgers got after last year with the Mets, so we'll see. But
The big
Dodgers
thing
in a
is
good spot.
if Freddie Peralta had not had to pitch Game 5, there's the outside chance he can go 1-4-7. And that guy's a stud. So we appreciate the Cubs drawing that out to 5 games to burn Freddie again. Um, Brewers are fun, man. They're a fun team to watch. Young,
Reminds me a
run,
lot of that 2018 team.
yeah. Just put the ball in play. Some guys that come out and just throw absolute gas. I don't know. They're a fun squad. It should be a good series.
If there's
You know,
anything you could tell from that series with the Cubs, with the Brewers, is the Dodgers need to keep them down early. Cannot let them get going.
yeah, yeah.
Need the starters to go get us 5 or 6 innings. Keep a couple.
Yeah.
Scram.
Dodgers,
Scram.
Brewers
Post.
are the
Get out of here.
best
Get
base
out.
running
I'll be
team
out in
in
a minute.
baseball. They're the number one team in steals and everything. So they run the bases. Um,
They're a bunch of kids, right?
yeah,
Bunch
the
of bunch
Dodger,
of
yeah,
rookies and
Churio's
and
like
second year
22.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that yeah, to Wake's point, you're right. Ty they run a ton because they're young, but to Wake's point, like you rookies get a couple hits on the board, they start getting some confidence. They think they're invincible. They're young guys, and yeah, that becomes a problem.
They don't
So
know any
for
better.
sure,
They don't know
So
they're not
got to
supposed to
jump on
do
them
it.
early.
the
Yeah,
Brewers play the
exactly. That's
Dodgers
exactly right.
last time in the playoffs, 2018, the famous Chris
Chris Taylor,
Taylor
baby.
catch game. Yes. Um, a concern regular season. Brewers 6-0 against the Dodgers. I know that doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. It does and it doesn't. But it's interesting that they're not going to start their kid, that ace. I'm going to mispronounce it.
Mizurowski,
Mizorowski. Yeah, dude, that guy is nasty. But
Jacob Mizurowski.
apparently he's
Yeah,
going to be a long man or whatever. So we'll see how they use him. He's their version of Sasaki, is what they're saying. So it'll be interesting.
yeah. We'll see. We'll see about that.
They do not hit home
Yeah, it's
runs.
going to be. I mean, I'm. That's right. They don't hit a ton of home runs, but they put the ball in play. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a fun series. I mean, obviously from a star power, from a talent perspective, the Dodgers. There's no team in baseball that could compete with the Dodgers on that front. But man, young guys, hungry, excited to be there, full of energy. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
All right. Well, we got about only a couple seconds left. That's
Dodgers in 6.
episode 1, Dodger Blue
Dodgers in
Balls.
6.
Catch us next time.
Show
Thanks,
MVP.
guys.
See ya. Get some rest.
Yeah,
Back
yeah.
to sleep.
Tomorrow, baby.
See you guys.